Turn off.
Gay. Didn't you lock your car?
If you guys get more serious, I can get the wholesale account with the words.
Alright. Last topic, and we'll wrap this video up because we've been rambling.
There's gonna be like 6 videos in one.
That's fine. Alright, so Airsofters.
Range masters.
The only background with Airsofters, you know, is Airsoft, who transitioned into the real gun scene, and it's incredibly dangerous.
Yes.
Incredibly dangerous. They watch a few videos of like Travis Haley, stuff like that. They play Airsoft, they buy a real gun, they go to the range, and they try to do that video. And it's, you can tell who it is whenever you watch the videos. You can tell the guys that are like, okay, this guy has no background. He just, whatever he's doing in Airsoft, like a lot of them, because they'll have their thumb, you know, they'll be holding it over the top of the gun, like those weird guys with the M4s, and like, Brian.
I have freakishly long arms, so with my little Troy TRX or whatever it is, I don't even know. I basically do the secret just because I can wrap my hand around, and I do have muzzle control. I don't do the whole thumb forward on the front sight or on the barrel and everything. I understand barrels get hot, but it works for me. And then also, you're gonna attack me. I know.
No. Like okay. One of the biggest things about shooting is however you shoot and hit the target's how you should shoot. You shouldn't let somebody tell you how to hold your gun, how to like shoot your gun, because like there was a video about somebody saying this is how you use your gun, etc. But he mentioned the way that the military shoots the guns, and the reason why like we're taught this as opposed to other people is because we use our gear in conjunction with shooting. We have sappy plates, you know, in our plates, so we tuck our elbows in, get down low to hide our vitals that are exposed underneath our armor, and we use our sappy plate to absorb, you know, our recoil. But somebody who's not running, you know, like a plate carrier, somebody who's running like a chest rig only, and they're trying to do that, it doesn't make sense, because now they're resting all of their recoil, you know, like in their chest, and they just kind of like look silly. So like a lot of that stuff is, a lot of people don't realize that there's purpose behind it, that it's not just because it's a stable shooting platform. It's stable because they're using it in conjunction with their gear. So when you see the guy with the chest rig doing all that crazy stuff because he saw a video, it's like, what are you doing, dude? You know, like, don't try to just mimic things. And that's how you could spot the Airsofter that bought his rifle, went to the range, and is like, look at me now, you know? Like,
well, a lot of Airsofters will be an Airsofter, and then they look at it like, oh, it's still a toy, or it's like a kid's thing, and then they want to progress and go into real firearms. And I think that's, like, I'm sort of doing that, but I'm taking it slow and just like basically just going on the weekends and shooting, but not trying to make videos or impress anybody, because it's just like, my fear is if I do something wrong, like if I break the 180 rule, which I already know not to do that, but if I break some rule and then someone's on the internet, it's like, this guy's a retard for doing this, it's like, I already have enough hate, so it's like, I don't want to do that. I would rather just like, I'm going to learn the basics, take my time, shoot it, the plates, call it a day and have fun. And it's something fun and enjoyable, and it's not Airsoft, it's not cooking, it's not hiking, it's a new hobby I have, but I don't take it serious. This is a fun pastime, hang out with friends. Well, that's what I do.
Well, obviously I'm not saying like if you're an Airsofter you should never buy a real gun and never play, and like I'm not saying that only if you have background should you get a real gun.
If you have bad trigger discipline, just don't even do it, please.
If you get a real gun, you need to start with the basics, the safety course. If you buy a real gun and you jump into these advanced courses, you're hurting yourself and putting everyone in danger when you go out to shoot, because you didn't learn the safety rules. You jump past that. A lot of these rules, they require you to acknowledge that this is an advanced course. They expect you to already know the basics. So if you show up to one of those, and like a lot of these guys, you know, they try to go all high speed in the course, they're expecting everyone to have a basic understanding of safety. If you're running around and you're just like, oh, I'm going to do what they're doing, and you don't have that basic understanding of safety, and a big thing too is Airsoft does promote a lot of bad habits in the real shooting. A lot of people in Airsoft, they'll be like, oh, I wonder if there's a round in my chamber, and they aim it at the ground and shoot. And that's going to transition over, whether you realize it or not. It's going to be muscle memory. You pick up a real gun, you're going to be like, oh, I'm not saying necessarily you're just going to shoot the ground and test it, you know. But a lot of these things promotes bad fundamentals, bad safety. You know, if you're walking around Airsoft with your gun off safe and you're just like letting your gun fly around and everything, and it's like, okay, you're being dangerous, but it's like, when you go to the actual range, if you practice in airsoft putting your gun on safety, everything, which you should be doing anyway, is going to transition over. So I'm not
training wheels.
Yeah, I'm not talking about, you need to learn to crawl before you start running. Just because you saw somebody do it on the video. Like a lot of people, I saw Travis Haley do it. Travis Haley was fucking in the Marines forever and a day and has been all over the world. So he's had some experience with that. He didn't just buy a gun, a camera, and start a YouTube channel. So all these guys trying to impersonate him, it's like, with a real gun, you're putting other people in danger and yourself. So it's like, a lot of these things, like, just because you practice it at the range or whatever doesn't mean you're ready to do it because you watched the video so many times you think you have it down. Somebody said the other day, it blew my mind. Somebody was talking about a bunch of those airsofters that went to the release of Call of Duty, and they all had their guns. And somebody commented on it, like, okay, that's probably not smart, They followed all the rules, they talked to GameStop, they talked to the police, everything, they knew they were going. But people were like, they had mags in their guns, they're running around, showing off their guns. And it's like, somebody milsim something or another, those guys that put milsim in their name, he's like, no, I personally inspected everyone's guns, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, so we're supposed to trust safety into your hands because you have milsim in your name? And he went on to explain how safety is so stupid simple that even that you don't need a trained monkey to do it, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, you may think that that's the case, but in all honesty, there's a lot behind safety that you don't consider until you go to one of these courses and until you do this training. Any idiot, with a gun could say, oh, don't put your finger on the trigger. But there's a million other things, in conjunction with that. A lot of people don't realize that, like, you're running around with your weapon on fire, stuff like that. You think just because your finger's not on the trigger that it can't go off. That trigger can snag on a piece of your gear and set the gun off, which has happened before. So it's like you thinking that your very mindset that I don't need to go to these courses because safety's obvious is exactly what's dangerous about what you're doing. Because that mindset that I know what I'm doing because I'm not an idiot is exactly how people end up shooting themselves or shooting other people. Is because they're like, I got this, and then they go and they end up shooting themselves in the leg or, God forbid, one of their buddies. So it's like that very mindset, I played enough airsoft, I know how to be safe with a gun. You may think you're being safe just because you've never accidentally shot somebody with your airsoft gun, but you're really not. You do need proper training, especially with real guns.
But once you set that safe gun down on the table and it's safe by your standards and your persona, if someone else picks it up, then safety's out the window.
Well, that's the thing too. Like, nobody would consider it. You're responsible for that gun. If you take that gun to the range, take it out, you're responsible for it.
I was at a gun store just the other day, and there are several demo pistols on the table or the counter. And then if I step 3 steps back, there's plastic bags of basically reloads. That is not safe. And the people are like, yeah, that's cool. Why? That makes no sense. There's no common sense.
Because you taking your gun, you are responsible for it. If you leave your loaded gun down and somebody else picks it up and shoots, they're the ones that shot, but it's your responsibility to keep track of your gun. If you go to a range, you're not supposed to leave your loaded gun there and go to the bathroom. You're supposed to clear it all out, put your gun up, and then leave the range. You're not supposed to leave your guns unattended. That is your responsibility. So, like, you thinking you have everything covered, that's something that people don't consider. Like what you just said, somebody may think, I got airsoft, I play airsoft, I know everything about safety, I'm just going to leave my gun here. If somebody else shoots, somebody, it's their fault, but it's going to fall on you because you left that loaded gun there. That is on you. If you own a firearm in your house and you have children, the children get a hold of the gun and shoot. The children aren't the ones held responsible for it. You are. So that's part of the safety thing. Like, a lot of these guys, like, it kind of scares me because it's like a lot of these guys that look for any excuse to dress up in their gear, and they're like, at Kamikaze, there was a billion airsofters running around just flagging people with their guns, just running around with their guns, screaming, being obnoxious, stuff like that. Like, that's the stuff that gives us the black eye, like, that's the stuff that, and then you the same guy that was running around, pointing your muzzle in everybody's face, is wanting to buy a real gun and then do a how-to video on YouTube just because you own a gun and because you watched a YouTube video. Insanely dangerous. And a lot of people get defensive about it if you call them on it. It's like, what background do you have to be teaching people how to shoot a gun? You know, like what is your experience that makes you qualified to teach other people? Oh, any idiot can do this. No, it's really, there is a science to it. You know, there's 4 basic safety rules plus a 5th that apply, but just because you know those doesn't make you safe and doesn't make you a qualified instructor to teach people. There's a lot more that goes into it than just being safe and, you know, just not putting your finger on the trigger.
Example, that little girl with the Uzi.
Oh yeah, so that was a big deal because, okay, so a lot of people were like, oh, the parent letting a 9-year-old shoot an Uzi. The parents, if you think about the place and setting, the parents did the right thing. They went to a range and went to an instructor. The parents did the right thing. It wasn't the parents taking the child out to the range and handing them an Uzi and going here. It was on the instructor. The instructor was an idiot, handed like a 9-year-old a fully automatic 9mm, and then just stood there without controlling this 9mm. A 9mm is not much to us, but to a 9-year-old and full auto,
It still pushes you.
yeah, you're just gonna stand there to the side and watch them do it. Just watch them shoot while it kicks them back. Yeah, of course the gun's gonna move on you. That was 110% on the instructor, and that instructor is probably one of those guys that played airsoft and was like, I got this. I'm gonna become an instructor, and then he started teaching people how to shoot guns, and that's exactly why that's dangerous. Any idiot knows that, you know, you should be safe, but you're gonna hand a 9-year-old an Uzi and just stand back and watch it happen? I mean, come on, get real. That's obvious stuff there. Mm-hmm. So those are the kind of worries I have when I see this. Like some airsofter, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna start a range. The fake ranger tried starting his own instructor academy.
I remember that.
And like did all these videos of advertisement for it, and it's like, you not only did you not have any experience, you made up experience. You lied about your experience. So now you're gonna lie to people and they're gonna think that you have this background, and then you're gonna get people hurt. So it's like, man, that stuff really, really bugs me. And like people, like I said, are so defensive about it. They try justifying it every way, shape, and form. Oh, I've shot guns since I was 4 years old. If you haven't had proper instructions, if you haven't been...
You don't have that foundation, it's still...
Yeah.
It's false.
Just shooting a 12 gauge, you know, in a backyard is a lot different than running drills on a range, moving parts, stuff like that. So... something to consider. That the thing with the 9-year-old and the Uzi was a big deal. Everyone was blaming the parents. Mm-hmm. The parents did the right thing. They went to an instructor to teach their 9-year-old how to shoot. They shouldn't have been trying to throw a fully automatic into an untrained child's hands. That was completely irresponsible and stupid. But that goes with the whole learn to crawl before you start running thing. You need to learn the basics before you pick up an Uzi and just start shooting at the range. So... I don't know, that's one of my biggest pet peeves I see. There's a lot of airsoft YouTubers out there that do all these videos of them running drills at the range, and it's like, it makes me cringe when I watch it, because it's like, they're flagging people, and it's like, they're doing all these videos, and like, it's like, you're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get hurt, or you're gonna hurt somebody.
Or just lead by bad example, and then make more bad examples later on. It's just like, it's just...
And what makes me laugh is when you get guys that come from, like, you know, shooting real guns to play airsoft, and all these airsofters are making fun of him because he's like, dude, don't point your gun at me, or things like that. And they're like, dude, this guy's retarded. He's telling me to not point my gun at him. Or like, what makes me laugh too is when I used to ref, I used to get that all the time. Yeah, you used to have gadgets with the AEG. Obviously, pulling the charging handle on it, it's not gonna, you know, clear your gun to an AEG. So you got all these gadgets racking the gun. It's like, you're not doing anything. And especially when all these kids are like, what is he doing? It's like, don't do it. Just ignore him and just walk away. And you got all these kids at stage and you're racking their guns.
But it's practicing, you know, good habits. Mm-hmm. Checking your chamber. Like, racking that back on an AEG, it's silly. Like you said, like, obviously it's not going to do anything. A lot of these guys, they're from, like, you know, they're probably from military backgrounds, probably their first time playing airsoft. So they're like, oh, I'm familiar with this platform. And then they're like, why is there nothing here? What's this little wheel?
Or they rip it back and it's like a little spring and pop metal and they rip it out. It's not.
Yeah, or they try treating it like like it's a real gun and they end up breaking everything on it.
Or they run out of bees and they're smacking the water leaks.
Yeah, but like you were saying about like the people aiming at people and getting upset, I have the video of that kid putting his pistol in my face and pulling the trigger and it was like empty, and I like smacked it out of his face. I'm like, dude, what's wrong with you? He's like, don't worry, dude, it's empty. And it's like, you know, you should not, like, never should that be okay with you.
Accidents are number one killer.
Yeah, like, Yeah, and like a lot of people like that do this stuff, they try to do these videos. A lot of people don't realize that 90% of the accidental, there's no such thing as an accidental discharge. It's negligent discharge because it wasn't an accident. You did it out of stupidity.
Well, it could be a ghost gun.
No delay on it.
Third round clip.
But it's like most of the accidents happen during cleaning and like when people are trying to like show off their guns, like check out my gun. Yeah.
You see that shotgun video where that guy's aiming the shotgun at the roof?
Yeah.
And what is he doing? He's doing something just goes off. And
He's trying to act all gangster.
A lot of those videos of people doing stuff like that. Those are exactly, I watched those and I'm like, he was an airsoft. And obviously, I'm not saying airsofters can't transition and learn, but a lot when I see that, that's exactly what it reminds me of. Is that guy did a milsim op one time, and that's exactly why he's here.
And that's another bad part too. So if you got there's this video of some like gangster going around his car. He's like singing to like rap music, and he's a pistol. He's just pulling it out the window, shooting. And then you got people like oh, I'm pretty sure this guy played airsoft. Or, I'm pretty sure this guy has like airsoft gun or something. That brings like you can say like bad influences or whatever to airsofters because now they're running around in cars shooting guys with their guns and all that stuff.
And like another thing too, the fact that you can even say, oh god, that guy's an airSofter, like those guys in California that did the drive-bys, it's like.
Wait, what?
The guys that were shooting people with their airsoft guns in California.
Recently, or
it was like a year ago or so.
They do that with paintball too and pellet guns. It's everything. It's just there's dumb people everywhere.
Yeah.
But it goes back to airsoft because airsoft guns are the ones that like the most real.
That's what the news is picking on.
Or there was a big one, the kid that got shot. Like a couple people made because he was walking around with the AK. As a parent, why would you let your kids run around with a realistic looking gun out in public? Like you need, if you're a parent, you need to use your brain. Like a lot of people are like, oh, obviously that's a fake gun.
Poor parenting, buying the kid video games, dropping them off at Inside to play all afternoon while you go do whatever. Poor parenting.
Yeah, like that whole thing, like that poor kid, like that kid didn't know any better because he didn't have anybody teaching him because he thought backyard airsoft was fine because he watched the YouTube video and they're like, play in your backyard, it's okay. And
supposedly he was walking to a local field or like the backwoods, being able to walk from his house through the neighborhood. So it's like he knew, I guess, to go here, but he didn't know like use a bag and everything because it's still like toys. And it's like, oh, here's a toy. Go.
Yeah, and on that note, this isn't not trying to spark the whole, the police brutality thing there. This is just, if the parent would have avoided it, taught the kid gun safety, even if it's a toy, gun safety, like this is a realistic looking gun, this could obviously be a big deal, that could have deterred everything. They could have avoided everything. That kid had a gun bag, everything would have been avoided. So not trying to get into the whole, did the police do the right thing? Did they do escalation of force correctly? Anything like that. But they could have all been avoided from the get-go if the parenting were like, make sure you put that thing in a bag because if somebody sees it, they're going to be freaking out. And that's the mindset people need to learn. Like these informative videos shouldn't be about selling a product. It should be about informing you guys or refreshing.
EVIC, at the end of their videos, they always say, wear iPro, a bag and everything. They're like the only ones that do it.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah. And they also sell like an affordable bag now. It's like $1.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you buy like a gun, then they're like, all right, you want to buy a gun bag for like $1.50, something like that.
So that's good, but it's not enough. Because the kids that watch the EVIC videos and see that, they're like, okay, cool, that makes sense. But the kids that go to Walmart and they buy that Springer clear gun or whatever, they have no idea that they're buying a crap gun. And they have no idea that EVIC is out here at all these other big stores and like, I have this gun from Big 5, it's cool, and I have bright yellow BBs. And they have no idea about the safety.
Yeah, because it's
the problem.
like you said, it's not enough for one company to say it. It needs to be echoed. And every time like two companies do the right thing and then these personal videos, they're just like, play in your backyard. It doesn't matter. This is America. Do what you want. Those guys are the ones that are taking the steps back because kids could stumble across this video. And like they don't get it. Like when you point it out to them, you're like, that's not safe at all. They don't get it. They're like, oh, you're just an idiot. You're just trying to do things your way, whatever. And it's like, no, there's a reason why people take this to heart because we don't want to see kids get shot because, they didn't know any better. We want people to understand, hey, it's not a good idea to walk down the street with my gun,
Yeah.
But then as stupid as it sounds to us, some kid doesn't know anything. It's a toy, that's what they look at it as. This is a toy. It's okay if I walk to my friend's house and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Anyways, so we covered a lot of topics tonight.
Let's cover one more. Who's gonna first edit this video? Is it like 5-1? Ariel?
Do you want to edit it or do you want to?
I'm not doing shit. I'll send you the links and pictures.
Links and pictures.
Or like for the intro.
All you gotta do is chop it up. You watch one of the WTF videos and just chop it up.
Okay, let's do a quick video of like what we want to see in 2015.
Green
No.
As a
guns,
new team.
No, like as what we want to see.
bright orange guns.
No. Okay.
Or what are you talking about? Like, as a,
Like, what is our
team?
ideal perfect BB wars in 2015?
No, what do we want to see in the world of airsoft in 2015?
So in a perfect.
Yeah. No,
HPA.
you have to say something. Okay,
We're
so
recording.
okay, you finally
Bad
spoke.
man.
Okay,
I did spoke.
let's talk about what we want to see because 2015 is right around the corner. Let's talk about what we want to see in a perfect world, in the perfect airsoft world. What we want to see. One, what would you like to see? We're just gonna go like this. I'm thinking too.
I like to see more outgoingness from people getting out there, giving it another shot rather than just being deterred away from people that make the game bad. You know, just give it one more chance. It's not always that you're gonna play one game and the next day goes gonna be the exact same game. It's whole new games every time you go, and you know I've gone from good experience to bad, and then another good one. It's don't just judge it on that one time. Give it another shot, give it a few tries, and
An average.
yeah. So if you still don't like it, well then Call of Duty.
I want to see less. I want to see less sellouts, like less people trying to force brands down people's throat, less people, covering their videos and like all this stuff, and like this is the only way to go, and like more variety, like people thinking for themselves. Too many fanboys, they're like, oh, this is the only way to go. New players are like, oh, that's the only way to go because this guy said so, and he has like 20,000 viewers. So it's like, I want to see less of that and more common sense, basically. Like, again, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
I think what I want to see most is just more camaraderie. I want to see these walls being broken down, like you said, Milsim and Speedsofters. I just want to see people realize that we're all just trying to have fun. We're shooting plastic BBs at each other. We don't have to be condescending to other people or look down on them because they like to play a different way. Just want to have fun.
One love.
Yeah.
The thing I want to see is more airsoft fields with more immersive, kind of like how Insight and SS Airsoft. It's more like a video game, and then you have Taxi, which is boards and everything. That's fine, but I want to see more variety, I guess. So like I guess there's more SS, more tax cities, more fields, so there's less kids. It's doing something.
That's the
Unless
ball
you're
better.
throwing, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, now look at my speech. I basically want to see more fields, so there's less private games, less kids running around on the streets doing everything. Basically, if there's like California, we had like the most fields per capita, but like I always see kids in the Midwest don't have fields. Kids in the East Coast don't have fields. But imagine if every 50 miles or 100 miles there's an airsoft field, and you can go like this weekend, go to this field, and it's like Russian themed. This weekend it's like say Nuketown or something like that. Like everybody talks about that paintball field, Nuketown, but why not make more fields like video games? Like my brother's playing video games. He doesn't even play airsoft anymore. I gave him all his stuff, but I think there's a video game field. I think he would like that to get more people off the couch. That's what I want to see.
What I want to see is more like a field stepping up. Like when you tell them, and this really irritates me too when I go play, is when you say there's a cheater and they say okay, and they just it's in one ear out the other one. What I want to see is like field stepping up, enforcing like the cheating rules, like he said, the safety rules. If you see like a kid walking around with this pistol trying to act cool, tell him like take your pistol out of your holster, put it back in your bag, things like that. Making airsoft more safe and more fun. Because at the end of the day, you're just going around shooting little kids with BBs, with little plastic bullets. So.
Don't shoot the kids.
So I don't know. You can't be more cooler than that.
Well, for me, basically it's almost the same as Ariel. I'm basically like a regular airsoft player. What I really hate is when you shoot somebody from behind, they turn around and start shooting back at you.
It was a ricochet.
There's a respawn.
The first shot was a warning shot.
No, you can shoot.
Just
It's either they hide, they didn't notice, they didn't feel, they turn around, they start shooting at you. So that's basically ruins my day. So I just follow my rules. Dead man don't talk, dead drag and everything. Yeah, just make more strict of rules. Make them like enforce it more. Basically, that's it.
that's good. So overall, more fun, more fields, more fun,
More BB wars.
more BB wars.
Less
I
stolen
think
valor.
I think once people start realizing that BB Wars isn't like you're not living Dan Bilzerian's life when you play BB Wars. Like once people start realizing it's not as cool as like it's a hobby. It's as cool as you make it, but other people you're not going to impress chicks with your BB Wars kit. Once people start realizing this stuff, maybe they'll stop like looking for every excuse.
Lightning bolt. It's the same as LARPing.
Once people, well, I disagree. I don't think airsoft is LARPing because I'm not pretending like I'm dying when I get shot. That'd be like saying that'd be like saying laser tag is LARPing. I'm not pretending like I'm on space shooting people.
Advanced warfare.
It's not the same because I'm not pretending I'm doing anything. I'm just shooting plastic BBs, and it's like if you want to pretend you're doing stuff, that's fine. But I think once people realize it's not as cool as they're trying to impress people. That's why they're wearing this gear. That's why they're going to places in their gear. Once people start realizing it's not as cool as they think they look, then maybe all these like irresponsible things and all these stolen valor acts and all these other things they'll stop. Because Halloween, Call of Duty release, and like Kamikaze thing, all three of those. If you wore your kit, like you need to take it off sometime. You need to wash it because a lot of those guys at Kamikaze, they smell terrible. Like wash your gear, take it off. Like don't. And I'm not saying don't have fun. Like if you're going to Kamikaze and you're dressed like there was guys that did the what was it called, Fallout or what was it that the game I can't even remember the name of the game, but they did it and they did like the little impression. No, not Borderlands.
Halo.
No, Stalker. They did the Stalker thing, and they did a really good job. They did really good jobs on it. That stuff's cool. Wear your gear for that. But like, you don't need to go to GameStop and like dress up in your gear and like flag people with your guns and like be obnoxious about it. Teaching people about the hobby is one thing. Forcing it down everybody's throat and just running around parading it is a totally different concept. So, but we covered a lot in these videos. Pretty much every topic was covered. Big topics, like the news and everything, so like that. So if we missed anything you guys want to talk about it, leave it in the comments below, and we'll address it for like future videos. So
Yeah.
stay classy.
See you guys next time.
Taco Bell.